Welcome to CEO Storytelling, a dialogue with top professionals, CEO level, and we are talking about the latest trends in IT&C. We have today Mike Maker with us, which is the head of MassMutual Romania. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you.
Happy to join this quest.
Yeah, thank you.
So, what's the story behind CEO Storytelling? We want to find out more about the huge responsibility that you bear as a leader, as a tech passionate leader, and you have more than 15 years experience in the tech industry. How did it all start? How did you choose tech?
Good question. Well, thank you, Andrea, and it's great to be here in person, which I've been waiting for a long time. So, I think just for me, it started in tech as long as I can remember, actually, even going back to my high school days. And, I think going into college, I either wanted to be a pilot or a technologist. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go the technology route because I like business too. So for me, it was a good path. And I think at the right time too, I could really see the power of what information technology could do. And obviously, I didn't know how things would evolve over time per se. Like, you look at the iPhone today, a computer in your pocket, you're like, and this was like sci-fi stuff back then, right? Like, yeah, that would be cool, right? But for me, I've gotten, my career has been probably a series of, like everybody else's. But, certainly I think when you stay motivated and you stay persistent at, following your passions, I think you can find a way, just like a river finds its way through the ground, right? You can find the way to the right path that you're looking for. And, I'm happy to say that I've, so far I've been able to do that for the most part.
So now you have your current role as head of MassMutual Romania. So you followed your passion at the top level. So everybody knows you at the head of MassMutual Romania, let's say so. But what's the story behind? How do you feel? Why MassMutual Romania?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, and not only being the head of MassMutual Romania, but I also got Romania, right, a piece out of that too, right, which I think for me was really exciting and unexpected for sure to be in Romania one day, which I probably never could have predicted. But no, it's a really exciting time for us here in Romania, being a startup of the parent company, right, which we're very entrepreneurial. I'm entrepreneurial, my boss is very entrepreneurial, so we really cut the red tape. So we have what is a startup of a 170-year-old company. So we have the financial stability and backing of that company, which really gives us even more room to run and take risks. And it's been a really exciting journey so far, and I'm super optimistic about what the future holds, especially given everything that's happened over the past 2 years of the pandemic. Did not stop us from achieving our goals, and actually we've just built up more momentum, so I expect this to continue in the future.
Actually, you chose a pretty interesting time to open also offices in Bucharest and also Cluj. So 2 years of pandemics. I'm curious, what were the most challenging times for you during this period, and what's here to stay, to keep as a learning point, and what's something that you would want to develop more?
Yeah, let me first talk a little bit about why we chose Romania, because this is a question that I always get. How did you end up picking Romania? And I think there's really a tech boom going on in this region, especially Romania for sure. And when you look at as an American company, the parent, you look at which countries have geopolitical stability, right? It's in the EU. I mean, I think everybody knows the importance of NATO territory now, right?
Yes.
Also, the good infrastructure and high-speed internet. I mean, this is one thing that our team members do not complain about is the internet connections here are fantastic. And then, culture around technology, science and technology, and a big enough talent pool. And Romania really comes to the top when you look at this whole region there. So this is why we chose Romania to begin with. And then when we and also safe country, right? Very safe, stable, great place to do business. But when we came to Romania for the first time, we thought we would just put an office in Bucharest. And we thought we'd be much smaller than, even what we're projected to today. And, we visited, we said, okay, we have to put it both in Bucharest and Cluj.
Yes.
And Cluj, it was like a little Silicon Valley.
Yes.
So we're like, we can't leave Romania without
Cluj
in the mix as well. So my boss said, well, put 2 offices in Romania and do it as fast as possible. I said, well, let's do one thing at a time. Let's do one thing for Bucharest first, and then Cluj. And, those offices opened probably 6 to 8 months apart, so it was relatively close. The hardest part, though, was probably doing all this stuff remotely. So for 15 months, I couldn't travel to Romania because of the pandemic and the travel bans. And, just hiring everybody remotely. I mean, we didn't even have a Romanian entity here when the pandemic started. So we were still ways away from that. Hiring everybody remotely, putting the management team together, hiring a core group, doing all stuff remotely for 15 months. Then I came over here in June and got to meet everybody for the first time. I mean, after 15 months of, building and laying the foundation of the company, that was incredibly hard, right? But I think what we've learned today is that we have to be flexible as an employer, right? I think, it's in a way, it's maybe a blessing for the employees here, because now you get the best of both worlds, right? We have no plans whatsoever about asking our employees to ever come back into an office, right? We have 2 beautiful offices that we invested in, both in Bucharest and Cluj, and they're here for when our employees want them to be here, right? We have, maybe 50% that come in throughout the weeks. And everybody has a flexible schedule. Yes. So I think this benefits everybody. Like even myself, I was running around in hotel rooms for a long time, and wherever I could find time to work, or whether it was in a plane or an airport or a lobby or something like that, it made me extremely productive. So I think everybody has their own way of working that's best for them, that makes them the most productive, and we want to enable that and allow them to be successful the way that they want to be successful, without mandating, oh, you have to be in an office 5 days a week, right? Because I don't think that works anymore. So, so we've had a lot of learnings over the past 2 years.
So, what's your favorite thing in leading MassMutual Romania?
Well, I think without a doubt the Romanian people, for sure. Which I think I've learned a lot. I've gotten very inspired too by the people here in Romania. So I think when you look at being here in Romania, hiring the people here, the dedication, the commitment that they have, the hard work, good sense of humors, and the human aspect too is very inspiring to me. And the fact that we're able to already make a huge impact in the parent company, transform the parent company digitally, yes. And we're doing it faster than ever, is incredibly exciting to me. So that, and Barings also is a partner of ours that we've now brought in here to help them enter the Romanian market. We'll do the same thing for them and help them grow their teams and build high-performing teams. And we've just scratched the surface of what I think we can do here in Romania. So very exciting.
So, as I said before, you bear a huge responsibility as a leader. And I'm curious, what are the most common issues that C-level executives struggle with?
Well, I think in this market, it's without a doubt the high competitive nature of the market, right? And finding talent, but not just finding talent, engaging talented people to want to stay too. Because it's a hot market, it's great for the employee. So us as an employer have to up our game, right? Which is why we care a lot about career development, right? We always have, but now we really up the game there too, because I think to stay competitive and to continue leading the future, which MassMutual is doing, we have to arm our employees with the best. And that means strong career paths. We have money set aside for training budgets, certifications, things like that, and then a lot of different tools like LinkedIn Learnings, degree pathways, O'Reilly online books that will continue to promote and build strong career paths for our team members.
Yeah. You mentioned a highly talented team, and this is an important trait as a leader, and always a leader watches the performance of a team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious, what's the message that you want to transmit to your team? Why do they follow you?
Why do they value me as the leader?
Leader, yes.
I guess that's a good question. Probably, I value very much autonomy and independent thinking and being able to make decisions without somebody breathing down your back, right? So I think, if I had to ask any of my team members, and maybe they're going to be biased, or maybe you ask my team members, right?
Yes.
I would say that probably they're happy that I kind of let them be and leave them alone and trust them, right? Because I think that's the most important thing as being a leader is honesty, integrity, and trust. And, I try to make sure that I live that every day. Yeah. So.
You give them autonomy, and also you're being very humble as a leader.
And also make sure that they have the right deal, right? The tools to be successful, right? Not just money, but also a career path, right? That they're learning along the way, that they can do trainings, coaching, mentor, things like that. I try to mentor, my team members, and I think overall in the entire company, I hope that shines through, and we'll never have any micromanaging managers, right? That's just never going to happen while I'm here, for sure, right? So, I think in this world that we live in today, to be competitive and to be the best, you really have to trust your people and hire people that are better than you, smarter than you, and it's like that saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right?
Yes.
So my focus is on building high-performance teams and putting the right people in place with the right skills that complement each other too.
Yes.
So very important.
Very important, yeah. So what's your favorite company culture? Because you mentioned that's important for your team also, but how do you envision the company culture you would like to establish in your company?
Well, I think it goes into a lot of the last question too, and honesty, integrity, right? People from diverse backgrounds, right? Making sure everybody feels included in everything that we're doing, thought process, decision-making process. And, you have to have that as a culture for people to thrive, right? It's not a 9-to-5 job anymore, right?
No.
People need to be free to make decisions for themselves and their career paths. And it's a hot market too, right? So I think to offer the value proposition to all of our employees, we have to make sure we're honest with them, and we always do the right thing. And, I always say that while I'm here, that's going to be the case. Yeah.
So, being recently in Romania and having this challenge of opening 2 offices, it was important for you to have a well-established employer branding culture. I'm curious what you envision for MassMutual Romania in the next period in order to assure and to be grounded in the future and to assure, the innovation in your company.
From the employer branding point of view and innovation, right?
Yes, innovation.
Two points there, right? Well, number one, our goal is to be a top employer here in Romania, without a doubt. So we strive for this every day, and from a marketing and branding perspective, we have a wonderful team behind us that are working very, very hard to build the MassMutual brand here. And we want this to show excellence, right, as a company overall, right?
Yes.
Because we want to be the best, right? Not number 2, number 1. And, a lot of great companies here, a lot of great people. For us, though, I think the employer brand, MassMutual is a company about people helping people. And the goal of the company, which hasn't changed for 170 years, is that we help people secure their futures and protect the ones they love, right? So at MassMutual Romania, we get to develop digital products and technology solutions that help the parent company achieve this for our customers, which is which is incredibly important. So from a branding perspective, it's critical for us to get the right message out to the market on what we're doing. This is why we not only invest in our people career-wise, but we also want to invest in the local tech community, right, and build relationships, have our people talk to other people, learn from each other, and I think that's critical for the success also as an employer, and just being out there in the market, and I think naturally our name is going to continue to get out there, and people are going to see that what we have to offer is really, really good, and and challenging work, and it's hard to keep to stay on the cutting edge, right? It's really hard to do, but it's also really rewarding, right? I would never have it any other way. So so that's the employer branding side of things, right? On continuing to stay on, again, I touched on it a little bit on the innovation, right? That's what makes this so exciting for us. I think our team in Romania is actually pushing the US team to do more and modernize and be faster. So this is incredibly exciting to see, and they know that they can't just take a step back. So this also helps us be more competitive. And we're not here as a staff augmentation company for the parent company. We're here as a technology partner.
Okay.
So this is critical that the company is seeing us more as a partner.
Yes.
Which is fantastic, and we're going to keep growing that relationship. And this is why we see a larger headcount coming over here. So we'll do things like innovation labs. We've already started tech communities here on Java. We have a graduates program that we're bringing young people now on Java.NET Cloud, and this will be the next junior professionals that we'll help to develop, and we'll do this every fall and spring. So yeah, really, really exciting time on multiple fronts.
Yeah. It looks pretty interesting that you're a partner and you have the autonomy to change things here. That's an interesting point of view, and it's a big trust for the parent company in Romania market.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we've offered the bigger picture of why MassMutual Romania and why you are here, let's come back to you as a leader and refer a bit to your key goals as a leader, maybe not only professional, but also what's guiding you to be better day by day.
Good question. Well, I think for sure, especially as a leader, I focus very much on building high performance teams and putting the right people in place, right? So for me, that's number one. Also making sure our employees are getting what they expect when they came to work from us from the beginning, right? A place where we're going to help nurture them, give them the right career path, training, education, and help them on their way, right, to where they want to be to achieve their goals, right? So, it's very important to me as an employer that the value proposition for our employees is there all the time. And, I have conversations with people all the time, even when they get nervous about certain things. And, I always say, as long as we're, we have the right management team in place to continue to grow and make sure that you don't run into these types of issues, so we can help solve for that. Me on the personal side, I guess, because I think your question was around,
more to the,
what are my goals?
Yes, what
personally
guides you?
What guides me?
To develop your maybe soft skills also, and also professional, both sides.
I would say, I guess I don't think about my own personal goals as much at this point. But I think my goals are to also continuously improve and get better, right? Every single day I keep this in the back of my mind, right? How can I be better? How can we do things better? How can we be more efficient, right? Are we serving everybody the way that they should be served, right? So I spend a lot of time thinking about that. I think, that's all I'll say about myself.
Don't worry. It would be a better fit if we refer more to what inspires you. Maybe what would be something that you want to transmit to the IT community, because many leaders have either public figures which inspires them, or maybe it's something else that guides you and puts passion in striving to be better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great question, and very relevant too. And I think about a little bit more too on how do I make sure that I stay motivated and inspired. And
Yes.
I'd say there's multiple things there. One is probably travel and the nature and the beauty of the world that I usually always try to stop and smell the roses, as my aunt used to tell me. So I think travel is something that's good for the soul, right? That we travel, we learn from different people, different cultures, gives us a different perspective on the world. So that's something that I think now, ever since I came over here, I started tracking like all the countries that I visited and all this stuff. And I'm around like 35 or 36 now.
Oh, that's interesting.
So maybe I'll try to get to 50 while I'm but that has shaped me in ways that I don't think. That's probably, from an education standpoint, something that I don't think you can really get from anything else other than living life and seeing the world. So that inspires me. And then when we talk about people too, everybody has somebody that they say
Yes.
is inspiring. And I think there's nobody that's in the news more than Elon Musk, right? So I'll use him as a good example, because I think there's two things that I really see about this guy that is unique and that's very inspiring. And I think one is the human aspect, that you can tell that this guy really loves humanity. And you see it through even when people are betting against him to fail, right? And he still keeps coming back and says, I love humanity. We need to send rockets and send people to Mars so we can be an interplanetary species. Incredibly inspiring when you look at what someone can do when they when they're passionate about something. And the other side of that is persistence. So just never giving up. If I could ever give a piece of advice to young people, it's don't give up, right? I see a lot of people that are willing to quit pretty fast. I mean, there were many jobs I wanted to quit in the past. I can't tell you how many times. And one, I almost quit and moved down to South America to learn Spanish. So I'm glad I didn't, though, right? I mean, I would say, patience is something that, you learn as you kind of grow in your career. And I think it's actually quite a good skill to develop and be patient and, and be optimistic. And, I think when you look at what this guy, Elon Musk, right, he really, it's passionate to see someone that loves humanity so much and wants the best for the whole world. And at the same time is relentless, that never gives up from achieving his goals. So, I kind of think about that too when I look at how I want to develop myself over time. Yeah.
That's very interesting. So patience, it's a virtue after all.
It is. It is indeed.
It is. So coming back to Romania and seeing this different culture, how did that impact the things that you love about your job?
Romanian culture.
Yes.
Oh,
what do you love most now in the Romanian
friendly
culture?
people, right? The friendly people, the smiles on people's faces. No, I mean, I usually, I think that, as I said before, Romanians are very dedicated, committed, and hardworking, and they want to do big things, right? I don't see anybody wanting to kind of sit around and not learn and grow, and because they don't, right? If they're not learning and growing, then they leave for something that they think is better, right? So I think that's very interesting, just how hardworking the people are here, and the also I think the spirit of the Romanian people is terrific, in that I think there's a lot of history here, a lot of maybe not so good history too, but I think, I'm always amazed that I just see the smiles on people's faces, whether it's at the Uber driver or Bolt, and, just and you have terrible traffic here in Bucharest, but I
Yes.
still see
Yeah.
people like, it's okay, whereas, I wouldn't see the same response in some places, right? So, yeah, I just see this bright future here in Romania for sure. Great people, and that inspires me too, for sure. So, I feel blessed that I could be here in Romania to lead, what is a great company and just great teams, and I only see it getting better.
Okay. So, if would be a message that you leave for the tech community, observing now the evolution in the last 2 years, and having this in mind, what would be the message for the IT community here in Bucharest and Cluj?
I would say, well, I think the IT community, also has a very bright future. So, I mean, keep doing what you're doing, keep pushing the envelope, right? Keep trying to do big things, and, maybe have a little bit of patience along the way too.
That's a good example, yeah. Okay. So thank you, Mike, for answering our questions.
Thank you for having me, and in person.
And in person.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.